Hi guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing my rainbow recommendations. So my theme for this month's TBR was colours of the rainbow. So I'm going to be recommending 7 books to you today, all of which I've obviously read and that are representative of colours of the rainbow. So just like I did with my TBR, I've picked them based on their spines and I've tried to go for ones that I haven't talked so much on my channel about before. Yeah, but there we go. So let's jump into the first book. For red, I want to talk about Dark Matter, and this is by Blake Crouch. So we've got the nice red spine here. And this is a book that I buddy read with Krista last year and absolutely loved. This is a thriller that is about jumping between different versions of the same world. So we follow this one particular guy whose name escapes me, Jason, and at the beginning of the book he is sort of kidnapped and taken away from his family and thrown into a new dimension, as it were, or like a new version of the world, and he has to try and kind of make his way back to his world, as it were. Really like this. This was really different for a thriller. It had lots of obviously scientific sort of elements to it, and it raised a lot of questions about who we are and the choices that we make, and you know, the different versions of yourself over time, which I really liked those discussions. So this is not just your bog standard thriller. It's not too heavy with the science stuff. I did find myself semi-understanding what was going on with regards to the sort of scientific descriptions in here, but it was nothing really heavy, so yeah, would definitely recommend this one. For yellow, I'm going to go with The Girl with All the Gifts, and this is by M.R. Carey. So we've got the lovely yellow cover and yellow spine. This is a zombie novel basically. So it's set in a post-apocalyptic world where something's happened to Earth, and we follow this little girl in here, and her name is Melanie. And there's something quite different about Melanie, and we don't know what it is at the beginning of the book, but then as the book progresses we slowly learn. We learn a bit more about the world and about what's going on with it. And I really enjoyed this. Don't normally pick up sort of many post-apocalyptic books, and certainly I don't pick up a lot of zombie novels. They don't really appeal to me, but this one was really, I just really liked the way that the author structured it and the way that he put the story together. So yeah, this would be a really good summer holiday sort of read if you're looking for something like that. Next up is Pink. I didn't have many Pink books on my shelf that I haven't already read, so it went in the end for Anna and the French Kiss, and this is by Stephanie Perkins. We've got this lovely pink cover and spine, and this is the first book in the Anna and the French Kiss series, which follows 3 different young female protagonists who form relationships with people in the novels. So this one is set in Paris. Anna is from America, but her parents want her to go and study abroad for a year, so they send her to Paris. She isn't particularly happy about this, and when she gets to Paris, she's going to this particular like boarding school in Paris. She meets some people, she meets a boy. It's really good from the point of view of, I really like the setting of it. So I've been to Paris once and I'd love to go back there again, and just reading some of this in here just kind of brought back memories of going to Paris and really loving it. Yeah, and I think that's what I liked most about this book. Next up for green is a novel that I read a long time ago, and that is The Women's Room, and this is by Marilyn French. So this has got a nice green spine and the back is green as well. This is what I would describe as a feminist novel. So it's set in 1968 and it follows this woman called Mira, and she's a housewife, she's bringing up some children, she's, you know, living the life that you might expect for a woman at that particular time, and then when one day she decides that she wants to go back to school and study again, and then her life changes from there. And what I remember of the book, and my memories of it are a little bit hazy now, are there are lots of moments where women are together and having conversations about their lives and how they want to change their lives and things like that, and it deals with some really serious topics, like it says on the back, through the varied nightmares of rape, madness and loneliness to the dawning awareness of the exhilaration of liberation. So yeah, I would actually like to reread this. When I say I read it ages ago, I read it when I was in Australia for the second time, and I just graduated from my teacher training, so I was 22. So that's 12 years ago now, so ages ago. And I remember I belonged to a book club at the time, and they were reading this in September, I think, or like at the end of August or something like that. And I managed to pick up a copy in like a second-hand bookstore while I was over there, and I read it while I was over there. So yeah, I would really like to reread this one, but it's one I've always kept on my shelf because I just remember thinking that it was unlike anything that I'd read before. For purple, I'm going to go with Out of the Easy by Rita Sepetys. So you've heard me talk about this book on my channel before. I love Rita Sepetys' writing. This is set in New Orleans, yeah, and follows a girl whose mother is a prostitute, but everyone in the town sort of expects her to go down that particular route. Her father is nowhere to be seen, that sort of thing. But she doesn't want that for her life. She wants to go to college and make something of herself, and it's about her trying to do that, basically. So it's very much a coming of age story set in New Orleans, which I didn't really know anything about before I picked this up, and set in a time period I can't remember. I want to say maybe it's like the 70s or something like that. Where you obviously got, there's still a lot of racism prevalent and sexism prevalent, and yeah, I thought this was a really good, and it's one of Rita Sepetys' books that aren't spoken about an awful lot, but I really loved it. Next up for orange, I want to talk about Autumn by Ali Smith. So you can see this lovely orange cover. This is, I would describe this as an experimental novel about modern life in Britain. So she plays around with structure and form and language and punctuation and sentences, everything imaginable in here. And before I picked this up, I didn't think I'd like her writing for that exact reason, but I really loved it. I just thought, yeah, she had so many good things to say in here, and I just loved the way that she played around with stuff. So I'm yet to pick up Winter, which is the second book in this particular series, and part of me thinks it might be out in paperback now or maybe soon. I'm going to have to look that up. Because I did consider buying it in hardback, but because this is in paperback, I kind of want them to match on my shelf. So yeah, but would definitely recommend that. And then lastly, for blue, I want to talk about We Need to Talk About Kevin. This is by Lionel Shriver. I mean, it's got this lovely blue spine. Now, there's been a lot of controversy about Lionel Shriver recently because of some comments that she made about diversity in writing, and I completely understand where people are coming from when they criticise her for that, but I still really enjoyed this book. So this is what you might describe as sort of like a cross between literary fiction and like a psychological thriller. And basically in this book, the main character Eva is writing a series of letters to her husband, who he's described as estranged, her estranged husband. And she's writing about their son and, you know, bringing their son up and the problems that have gone on with their son and things like that. And I think, to be honest, the blurb on this gives a little bit too much away, although I can't remember exactly sort of how the events go, but that's all I'm going to say because I think that's enough, and the surprises in here were what made this book so good. But there's a lot of good commentary in here on being a parent and the line between what you can control and what you can't, and sort of how much of your responsibility it is when your kids do things wrong. I think there was a really good commentary in here on that, and I would definitely recommend it. There you go guys, they were my rainbow recommendations. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below. Have you read any of these? What did you think of them? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.